Oh, Emma, no, why? The mood, the mood, the ambiance. It's been ruined. Stream over. Good night. Um, you are very welcome along to the second session of Saving Grace: A Gardener Lies, our gothic horror series that apparently Vanessa Carlton may or may not have helped write the theme music for. I don't know. That's just out there now. Uh, if you are just joining us for the very first time, welcome to D8 Dungeon. We are a group of Irish tabletop role playing gaming enthusiasts with friends who join us on stream from far and wide, who we love telling stories, we love getting together, and we love sharing them with audiences. So, thank you for dropping by. If this is your first time here, do give us a follow on Twitch. You can check us out on social media at D8 Dungeon over on all major platforms. We put out we put out, that's just full stop. We stream twice a week here on Twitch, every Monday and Thursday, with different shows, running different systems and exploring different games. So every Monday we have Saving Grace or Beyond Horizon's Edge. On Thursdays, we have Random DMs, and we have Ben and Declan on our Roll, our TTRPG talk show. And every second Friday, we release a brand new episode of our award-winning podcast series, Romancing the Dungeon. So, plenty of content from us. Before we dive being the apt word, this is an aquatic-themed episode. Before we drowned in the details, also aquatic themed. But before we get into tonight's episode, a couple of things to just quickly flag for you. As I mentioned at the top of the show, this is a gothic horror inspired series. So drawing on the works of Mary Shelley, Bram Stoker, and a few others in the mix of things. Our aim this evening is to unnerve and cause tension and fear. If those are things that you struggle with, and darker themes, psychological horror, are themes that you may not be comfortable with, then please don't feel free to stick around. I know Eilish and Dahi, who help us run our socials and stuff like that, always get a bit like, but stop telling them to leave the stream. But this is one of those streams that may not be everybody's cup of tea. So if you aren't into horror and darker themes, then do pop out, and you can check out some of our other stuff at a later point. So last thing I'm going to mention before I hand you over to Emma to talk about some friends of ours, I want to very quickly mention the artist behind. You can currently see the portraits for two as of yet unrevealed characters up on our screen. And our art this season, like the last season, was designed and produced by Bar Ladera. Their art station link and everything is in the Twitch chat. So strongly encourage you to check out their work. They are a phenomenal artist and really, really great to work with and really, really accommodating. So over to Emma while I frantically finish off tonight's session prep.
Hello, yes, we are, and all of D8 are sponsored by Mystery Dice Goblin. They are a UK-based D&D store. They do mystery bags of dice, as well as a whole bunch of other D&D accessories. We've all ordered stuff from them, I think. Declan more so than others. Is it an obsession? Hard to say. But if you use the code D8 at checkout, you get 15% off your order, and then a portion of that comes back to us here at D8, and we use that for things like character art, which you can see, and music and all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's Mystery Dice Goblin. And all the details should be in the stream chat there now as well. Links and codes, etc.
And just for the record, it's not an obsession. It is just a passion of mine. So I'm
potato.
also electrodes. So without further delay, let's pick things up.
Oh dear.
That's what I like to hear. Yay. It would be fair to say that the last couple of weeks for Grace Stormfield have been filled with missing time, realities and dreams blending together. Moments dropped, time skipped, and as the taste of copper sours in your mouth, Grace, the rain and the salty wind whipping up at you, stinging around the edges of your eyes, you stare out across the dock into the horizon and the swirling black sea beyond, illuminated by an almost obfuscated moon, the second moon of Arcanum. You can just make out the silhouette of the Blue Mary, the ship that you have traveled all the way to Nookri to bring you to Cragfarnham Isle. Occasionally, you feel the fleeting glances and the quaking trepidation from two gentlemen positioned at opposite ends of you. They are reluctant to make eye contact, and no words have been spoken since you encountered them at the tavern. Pulling your cloak up around you, Shuyet, as the wind snaps, almost kind of whipping at you, lashing with you with the elements. You can taste the briny air. You can taste the cold, and there's something about the water and the surface of it, just the skin of black that sits atop it, rolling, rising, crashing, sinking, swirling. Give me a wisdom saving throw.
So soon. Okay.
Panic.
Oh, I'm good at this. Okay, great. Did you hear me?
Nope. I just thought you were being really dramatic about it. You just said, I'm really good at this, and then
silence.
Oh, really? Okay,
Silence.
sorry. It was an 18.
Yeah.
I was like, you have to roll the dice, Emma, in order for us to know.
just acknowledging, +7. Great.
I'm good at this. That's all you need to know. You stare at the ocean, and you can see the water, kind of the wind occasionally, the pull of the current. You can just see these little pools swirling, and for a moment there is just this sense of nostalgia. And you're not really sure where it comes from, but that ever shifting, ever changing state fills you with a strong memory. And for the first time, you feel a real draw and connection to the environment that you're in. It's that sort of almost steadying yourself. Your next roll, whatever it might be, will be at advantage.
Oh, nice.
As you're bolstered a little bit. Xander, you've found yourself kind of in the way a lot. The dock workers occasionally kind of passed by you, and you just hear it, move it, as they just there's no sort of would sir kindly, there's no manners, there's no politeness. There's no friendliness in their tone. They are simply here to do work, and you are in the way of that. Wherever you seem to stand, they need to put something down. Wherever you seem to shift yourself to, you're now blocking them from getting at the next thing. And you can just hear the sound of ore crashing against water, slapping hard against it. And you can see several boats smaller than the ship out at sea, moving towards the dock, and you can see all have this faint burning amber lantern sort of swinging back. And give me a perception check.
Okie dokie. Okay, not too bad. 12 plus perception for 16.
Kind of in the air, you can smell the salt, you can smell the sea itself, you can smell the sort of putrid seaweed that kind of clings to the rocky outcropping just at the edge of the docks here. You can even smell kind of dead shellfish that seem to have been dashed upon the rocks by gulls, all of it catching. And yet there's something else. And as the vessels draw closer, the smell, it hits you. It's the lanterns. It's the fuel that they're using. It's fat. And it has sort of a pungent sea or ocean sort of, that fishy sort of stench to it. And you kind of find it catching underneath the nose. Give me a wisdom saving throw.
Oh, this is not great. I'm not good at these. I'll be a 7.
You can't help but wince at the smell and like memories of classes, cadavers, bodies, death. The smell, it is different. It is different when it is dead so long. There's something sickly sweet about it. And it's that first thing of it's disgust. And as the smell lingers and almost suffocates inside your nostrils, you actually, for a moment, you actually feel your stomach wobble. And then there's a crashing sound in front of you. A young woman carrying a kind of a long, narrow box just kind of drops it forward, and it bangs into a box in front of her, and she looks kind of ghastly white when she kind of sees your reflection, or sorry, not your reflection. She sees your face. I do apologize. And she kind of scoops down, and
no problem. Can I help you with that?
Oh no! Oh please, no! Oh heavens! Sorry, you see that she was clearly carrying, like it's a kind of a waste box filled with fish guts and innards. And it has caught around the edges of your pants, your boots, the tail end of your coat. And then there's a bit of laughter coming behind. I'm ever so sorry. And she kind of, she reaches kind of for kind of a napkin or a cloth inside her coat, and she kind of starts to wipe it.
No, don't worry. It's fine. I've trodden through worse.
I haven't got much in the way of coin, but if are you happening back this way?
No, we're headed towards the boat, actually.
Oh,
Please, don't worry. It's fine. I will, help her, clean up the stuff.
you hear a thud. There's this loud pounding. Bump. 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 And you see that her white skin has kind of flushed red as you kind of reach down to grab something. Bump. 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 And it gets a little faster as she scoops much of it up. And then she, I'm so sorry. And she rushes past you.
Xander will just kind of swallow hard and just let her go. He kind of forgets about helping.
There's a moment or two as some of the other workers kind of move past you, Shuyet. One kind of stumbles into you. I think we had said that you kind of made yourself out of the way and sort of kind of hunkered down a little bit. They don't actually see you as they kind of stumble. They step into you, kind of knocking you a little bit. There's no apology. There's just kind of, they look back, they nod, and they keep going. All three of you see that a small little boat has maneuvered towards the pier, and then there is a slap of heavy rope. And then you just kind of hear, tie her off, as one of the dock workers just moves up and starts to knot the rope. There's a second and a third as the other two smaller boats maneuver with their way past and around. And you start to see the scrambling of passengers as well as some of the ship workers out onto the docks. And they move past the lot of you. Grace, what are you doing?
Grace is going to turn around and kind of tilt their face up to the sky, hoping to catch a few droplets of water in their mouths so they can rinse out the taste of copper. But they're going to try and do this a bit discreetly so they don't look even more unhinged than they probably already do.
Give me a stealth check.
I don't think I can stealth there. Oh, actually, never mind. Yes, I am. But we shall see with these rolls. Okay, so that was a 22.
It's more of a you tilt your head back and you can kind of stretch your body out as you lean against the handrail on here on the dock, and rolling your back and leaning your head kind of back over. You can see up and there in the clouds. You can just about make out the second moon of Arcanum, hidden behind the first. And as you blink and you can feel the salt, the seawater spray kind of catching on you, your mouth open, you do catch a couple of raindrops. I mean, you don't even get a mouthful, but it's enough to kind of wet your tongue and your teeth, and just sort of, even using a little bit of spit, mix it together and just spit. And all three of you just hear a voice call out, "Hey up, Blue Mary passengers, step forward, come on."
I'm gonna try and get ahead of Grace. I want to kind of get on the little boat before they can, just so I can choose my seat, and hopefully they'll choose someone else.
All right, slow yourself there, handsome. Name?
Xander Finesse.
Okay, I see you're all paid up. Xander, well, shortly we'll be welcoming you aboard the the Blue Mary. Not quite yet, but if you would, sir, if you wouldn't mind just hunkering yourself down into the boat. And it is that thing, Xander, as you're staring into the face, you, almost eye to eye, but they're a little taller than you. You see a half elf person. It's one of the things you can't. They don't seem to present either male or female. Their hair is pulled back. It's very, very tightly shaved around the sides. What's up on top is just these kind of slicked back, kind of jagged spikes, and it is just this sort of sun bleached hair. And you can see the kind of the odd strand of copper. They have these jet black eyebrows, one of which has two clear kind of scars cut down the middle. They have quite an angular jawline, but quite kind of sharp bird-like kind of cheeks and nose. Their eyes, though, are just... It literally looks like they've been made of sea glass. It is just this swirling sort of blue that has been rinsed by the sea. They're standing there wearing quite a kind of a flowing uniform. It doesn't look to be like, they don't seem to be kind of presenting in any kind of like ship shape kind of like suit tight kind of formal thing. They are wearing a really heavy coat over their shoulders that sort of drags and drapes outwards, giving them much more of a boxier frame. You can clearly tell that they're swimming in it. They seem to be more on the lithe side of kind of their physique, and they're wearing sort of a very, very flowing, slightly sun-weathered blouse that is kind of buttoned and tied up to the very, very top. A very heavy scarf draped around their neck, and then very, very baggy, if not waterproof pants, and that are tucked into two pairs of waders. You do see a sword on their hip. It looks to be more of a scimitar than something you'd use, but they nod down towards the boat. You can make your way down, right?
Yeah, I've got legs.
What's your passive perception?
It is 14.
They don't even attempt to hide it. They do look you up and down. There's a half a smirk as you say that. Next. Come on, we haven't got all day.
Yeah, so Shuya's just going to look at his feet and walk up and just say, Shuya.
I'm sorry, you're going to have to speak up. What was that?
He's going to stand beside him, so he's nearly shoulder to shoulder, and look at the page and point at his name.
Oh, right. Shuyet.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome aboard. You can plunk yourself next to Xander.
Okay. He's gone.
Oh, okay.
Grace is going to step up. Grace Stormfield.
Grace Stormfield. And when do we expect Mr. Mrs. Stormfield? And they kind of nod at your hand.
Another time.
All right, then. Only making conversation. Looks like it's going to be a fairly silent journey across this. All right, step lively. Come on.
Okay. Grace is gonna walk in and just kind of like dodge the other two, knowing full well that they're avoiding them, and be like, listen, that's fine. I don't have to talk to anybody. Works for me.
Daniels, Blackwater, and you can hear kind of orders are barked at some of the others, dropping off supplies. All of you clearly hear this person shout out, and if any of them change their mind, Captain said, "Hop on the boat. We're not leaving until first light." And then they slink down over a small rope ladder and they hop into the boat. And it bobs left to right as they sort of swing and land in front of you. Well, I've only got two hands, and some of you didn't pay the full fare. So, grab an oar. Unless you want us to walk to the Blue Mary.
I'm going to grab an oar.
Yep, same.
Yep.
They also they take the two oars at the front. Easy up. Let me just get us out of this, and kind of pulling one of the oars out of the rings, they push off against one of the heavy wooden columns of the dock. And there is this, for their leanness, and it doesn't look like they're the broadest or brawniest of individuals, but for the fact that the three of you watched as they, with an oar, just pushed away with three of you and a few boxes in this little boat, there is strength in this young person's physique that it otherwise sort of betrays or is hidden. With enough room, the oar slaps against the water. Some of you are you get, I would say most likely Xander and Grace, you are both kind of splashed a little bit, like by accident, as the oar kind of slaps hard into the water. It begins to turn face. Okay, you put your backs into it, and I need everybody to give me an athletics check.
Oh, my worst skill.
This
I'm not a strong boy. Oh, natural 20.
Oh.
19.
nice.
It's a 7
I got a dirty 20.
Okay, and Emma, you have this advantage
Excellent.
only because of your I'm so confident and I love the sea.
Oh, that was so much worse. That
Okay.
was a nat 1 and a -1, so that's a 0. So 7 it is.
Okay, we'll stick to 7.
Ooh.
With that, you are, maybe it's not the sea that was calling you. Maybe it's a lake. Maybe it's a river. But for Xander, Grace, and our as of now unnamed sailor, there's a moment where you're all kind of slightly thrown by Shuyet, who seems to be struggling with the oar and kind of getting it. But the rest of us, with this individual kind of manning too, you're able to start to row. Why did I do this? You are rowing towards the Blue Mary. First time aboard the Blue Mary, is it? And their back is to the three of you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can't say I've been anywhere kind of really near the island.
And the three of you are heading to Cragfarnham.
Yes.
That's interesting. I assume the three of you know each other then.
Can't say we do.
Why is it interesting?
Oh, just not many people go to Cragfarnham. And then there's and they spit.
Are you from there?
Oh, shit. No. I'm a Galestar kid.
Oh, same.
Oh.
Something tells me, Mr. Vernicier, that maybe from the other side of Galeshire.
Who's to say?
I think them fancy clothes and that accent probably say more than, and they kind of chuckle. No, just happened to find it odd that three of you were all heading the same way. Figured you might know each other. Just making conversation.
Oh, that is understandable. What can you tell us anything about Crag Farnham?
It's a shithole.
Oh, well, yeah. It doesn't seem like strangers are very welcome around these parts.
Oh, you mean the pricks in Nuckery?
Yeah.
Self-righteous, the lot of them. And it's a dry town. What kind of portside town doesn't have ale or rum? Jesus, I'd drink donkey's piss if it could get me a little bit buzzed.
That explains so much.
Well, look, you'll get a drink on Crag Farnham. It's just, that's about all you'll get.
Do we get the same
Oh.
hospitality?
Oh, yeah, they're famous for hospitality on Crag Farnham. Regular old hotspot for tourists, it is.
So I've heard.
What's with your... And there's kind of a gesturing over their shoulder. Our champion.
Shuyat's stopped rowing completely. He's given up. And is just writing a lot of stuff in his little notebook about the swells in the water, the blackness, his changing opinion, all of that. He's also muttering what he's writing at the same time.
Rin, since you all asked, I'm a first mate on the ship. You can put that in your book.
How many mates are there?
Just the one.
Why would they need to be numbered if there's only one?
It's just I'm the next in charge after captain.
Okay. Next in charge.
So, what can you tell us about the captain?
Bernard. They're grand.
Yeah.
Bit odd. Bit like your... And there's a... And they almost let go of one of the oars as they do kind of thumb back over their shoulder at Shuyat.
Okay.
Keeps to himself most of the time. You know, doesn't really... We go Rotherham, Crag Farnham, Nuckery. Nuckery, Crag Farnham, Rotherham.
Oh. You haven't thought about sailing with somebody else for a while, or?
I've always been on the Blue Mary.
Special ship?
Me first.
Do you enjoy it?
It's a stable wage.
That doesn't answer if you enjoy it or not.
So what are you doing in Crag Farnham then?
Well, how about we do this? A question and an answer for a question and an answer.
Okay. So that was your question, and I said yes. So what exactly are you heading to Crag Farnham for?
Work. Why are you so cagey about answering questions about the ship?
You're a stranger. Where do you come from?
You're a stranger. I'm just kidding, Galeshire.
Interesting.
Interesting how?
Oh, I just thought with that sort of smugness about you that maybe you were Visagian. Not that there's anything wrong with Visagians, mind you. I just you
What's
carry yourself like one.
smugness?
I don't know. There's something. There's something.
Okay.
Xander will like look in the opposite direction from Grace.
Is Xander in line with myself, or am I
Yes.
in line with Shuyat?
No, you're like as in like sitting next to or who's in front of who.
Yeah, who's to the side of me and who's sitting in front of me?
So in front of you would be Shuyet, who has stopped rowing and is just writing. I assume everything down as it's occurring.
Yeah.
And
that
next to
person
you
in
is
group
Xander.
project.
Yeah.
Yep.
Got it.
And at the very front is Rin.
Okay. Would I notice Xander kind of like trying to actively look away from that?
How is Xander reacting to the ask a question, answer a question?
But just when like Ren's kind of saying like, oh, there's like something like smug, something about you, and like Xander knowing that there's definitely something about Grace. Just saw it back in that tavern. He just is like looking away and trying not to meet either of their eyes. At that point, he doesn't want to contribute, so to speak, or give any indication that yeah, you're right. There is something messed up.
Oh, the shade, but I get it.
I'm so sorry.
What about yourself, Xander? What's taking you to Craigfarnham?
Business.
If I ask the other lad, is it going to be the same thing?
Nope.
What's taking you to Craigfarnham?
Research.
Jeez, one of you couldn't have lied and said running from the law or anything. No.
Running from the law.
Jesus. Okay.
Grace is going to kind of like choke down a bit of a chuckle there.
Well, go on. Your turn.
I don't know. Tell us about the rest of the crew on the ship. What are they like?
Well, there won't be that many. I can tell you that. A good chunk of them got off there at Nookery. Shore leave, apparently.
I don't blame them. The place is lovely.
If a good chunk of them got off at... How many are going to get us to Craigfarnham? Well, how many are needed, I suppose.
Oh, don't you worry. The Blue Mary, she'll sail. You are all familiar with the maritime phrase, though, of all hands on deck.
I've had my experiences in the past.
Great. Happy to know.
No,
that
I'm no pro.
I'm sure in a pinch, Grace, you can be a real professional.
Will we be mates?
Acquaintances. For the rest of the voyage, Rin it starts out as kind of a low hum, and they're kind of just kind of, it's just to themselves, and then all you can hear is all you hear at first, aside from the humming, is the kind of the wind and the sound of the sea, sort of like the waves kind of rising and falling. And just kind of out of nowhere, almost as if they've forgotten, you do hear Rin kind of begins to sing. And it's not a song either of you are particularly, or any of you. Actually, give me a history check if you
All
think
of
your
us?
character. Yeah, if you think your character may have heard of it.
13.
Okay.
15.
12.
It's strange. It's one of those things that like you're not sure if it's the melody, Juliet, that and Grace, that you're like, it kind of has that, just that sort of sing song kind of sea shanty to it. But you recognize the actual song as it's an old sea shanty called Ode to the Devil. And it is about it's a song about a Kelpie, Xander, that you've heard sung a couple of times in bars, taverns, kind of up and down the coast of Galeshire, even into Visage. And it's more like a ballad, a song sung by sailors about those they've lost to sea, hearts that have been stolen and devoured by the devil, known as the White Kelpie. And it's kind of a lamenting ballad, and there is something really, really sad in Rin's harmony, in their voice, as it rises with the song. And then there's a moment where all of you just feel the water kind of surge forward, and a wave slaps into the bow of the boat, and all of you are drenched, and just this wave kind of crashes into you. Oh, that's on me. Sorry, got a little lost. Look, the Blue Mary, almost on board. I reckon. Was I singing?
Yeah.
Okay, it'll be a silver piece each for the performance, but we can put it on your tab.
What tab?
I'm just having a laugh, Grace.
I'll chuck them the silver piece.
No, I won't say no to free coin. Thank you, Mr. Vernicier. And they kind of stand up as they secure the oars, and you see that they're running heavy rope over their shoulder, kind of making a loop with it. And then there's just a whistle from their lips as they kind of look down on the three of you. And then they, with all the strength in their arm, fling the rope up over. There is a second whistle, and then you can just hear kind of, "Hey, up!" And the small boat kind of is pulled forward, and then you hear the clattering of timber against the ship, and then a splash as a small rope ladder falls, hangs from the side of the ship. Not fancy, mind you, but on your up. And they step to one side and they gesture up the rope.
Grace is going to take the lead here, and before they get up, like climb up the ladder, they're just kind of going to look Ren in the face and, just kind of nod curtly and make their way up, not wasting any time.
Yeah, and it's a thing of like they're holding kind of the rope ladder, just so that you can get a good grip of it. And when they see that you do, they just let go. And is everybody you just kind of following Grace
Mhm.
up?
Is Rin coming with us onto the boat?
Yes, they'll be last up.
All right. Okay.
Xander gestures for Shet to make his way.
Sure. Yeah, and Shiet's going to put kind of one hand, one foot, and then turn around to Rin and just say, "Thank you, first mate," and continue up the ladder.
Yep. And Xander will turn and thank Ren before climbing up as well.
And as the two of you kind of follow up, you just hear, "You're welcome, Grace."
Really good at first impressions.
Like fuck my life.
There's as you were climbing up, and like it's a bothersome climb as you kind of pull yourselves up these wooden rungs and the rope. It is soaking wet. The timber is cracked but smooth, and you strain against it, occasionally kind of catching Xander catching your knuckles between the wood of the ladder and the rope and the ship itself. All of you can just see this close up. There are lanterns hanging over the side of the ship now, just kind of illuminating a little, and it's there along the side, sort of painted in this sort of cerulean azure blue, with kind of a shimmering black outline. You can just see the words "the Blue Mary," just sort of uh, painted delicately, boldly on the side of the ship. Uh, Again, sort of this spilling sort of font, like waves swirling up and sort of crashing over. As you make your way up onto deck, standing there, um, just there, this canvas cloth shirt sticking to them, loosely kind of tied. All of you see this rather uh, sort of old muscle, like it's that sort of maybe in their younger days would have been much sort of fitter and tighter, but you still see an enormous amount of kind of muscular brawn in their physique, but there is this sort of uh, there is this gentleman kind of standing there wearing these dark navy pants, heavy black boots, um, and again a scimitar on their hip, um, and around their neck you can clearly see like a silver chain, and at the bottom then just a teal sort of gem sort of encrusted into the middle of it. Grace, as you land on the deck, they do approach, and their hand comes out, and it goes to kind of shake your hand.
I'll extend my hand out of reflex and say, Captain.
You are welcome aboard, Miss
Stormfield.
uh,
Grace.
Miss Storfield. I am your Captain Quentin Renard. And at that moment, kind of the wind kind of whips up, and it's then Xander that you catch your fingers behind the rope, and you see that this wispy grey hair is just sort of caught and kind of spins outwards, Grace, and you just see these two elongated ears. He's a high elf, and that would maybe explain kind of the physique and the height, and he looks much older than. Well, I guess he looks old, but he clearly is much older
Much older
than
than that.
what he seems. Yeah, his grip on your hand very light, like you would expect a man of his sort of shape and prowess would. But no, it's kind of a glancing handshake. It's a weak handshake. You'll find passenger quarters, and there is a young woman kind of standing to one side. kind of like she gestures and she kind of points down a small set of wooden stairs. Please kindly make your way below deck.
I will do. Thank you. And Grace is going to make their way over to the young woman and say hi before I duck down and disappear below.
And with this, Shiet, you climb up, land on the deck, and a couple of seconds later, Xander, you kind of appear behind, and you can hear Rin kind of still climbing up the side of the boat. Casting an eye over, you do see, Xander, that they have something draped around their back, that they're obviously carrying some cargo or something back up onto the ship. When the captain kind of approaches you, Chouette, and kind of again takes your hand rather than like before you even get a chance to kind of extend it, just takes your hand and gives it that sort of that. It's a shake. But their hands are. Give me a perception check, Chouette. Seeing as how you're so detail oriented.
That's a 23.
Ooh.
That's odd. And maybe it's because the wood was so smooth, but you could still feel the cracks. Hand is very soft.
Oh, loves to moisturize.
Captain Quentin Renard, welcome aboard the Blue Mary.
You're the captain?
I am.
Does being a captain involve hard labor, or is that just for the mates?
I do my fair share around the boat, if that's what you're asking, but there's a lot of ordering and a lot less carrying.
Okay. All right. Thank you. He takes out his notebook and starts writing.
Captain Quentin Renard, and he kind of brushes past Chouette and takes your hand, Xander.
I shake it.
Welcome aboard the Blue Mary. Passenger quarters are just below deck. And again, they point towards a small stairwell, and there is a young human woman standing there with sort of rusty red hair.
Thank you. I will help Rin up with the stuff that they're carrying.
Kind of leaning down over. You catch them. Okay. As you lean back over, Xander, there's a moment where you see Rin has a hand on the ship. They're specifically where you see the lettering.
Mm-hmm.
Their hand lingers for a moment. Give me a perception check at disadvantage.
Disadvantage? Okay. Okay. That's 13 plus. Where's my perception? It's actually a 17.
You just hear a gentle knock against the hull of the ship, just a tiny little rap of Rin's knuckles. And you hear them utter the phrase, Tidewalker. And then they turn, they kind of look up and they see you. And they kind of shimmy up a little bit as you. You're very kind. You're not getting silver piece back, mind you.
No,
there is just this big kind of grin on their face as you lean down over. It's heavy. Like it's obviously some food and provisions, and in the distance you do see a boat kind of rowing towards the ship. From where you are, Xander, they're just a little bit behind you.
Mm-hmm.
And then the captain kind of gestures towards the passenger quarters.
So when I get all the stuff up, I'll just set it down and head towards the passenger quarters, just nod at the captain as I go past.
And have you gone kind of towards the human woman kind of standing there? Kind of
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
There is in that moment, as Xander, as you go to head down, and you just see Chouette making their way down these steps. You hear kind of an exclaim out of the captain, Crag Farnham. All of them. And what about the others? All right. And you head down. It is a it's sort of an open planned space here below deck, and you can see another set of stairs down. Um, you pass the galley, so again, you can see the odd, like you can see kind of a cook standing there, kind of like scraping at the bottom of a barrel. You can or like a deep metal saucepan. And they just give you each kind of the nod, and they kind of gesture over with their heads down a small sort of narrow passageway, and there you see just these hammocks draped kind of between pillars and posts in the ship, and small little storage boxes for your belongings. That human woman follows down a moment later. Yeah, but you can pick wherever you want to go. There ain't no calling dibs on anything. You're responsible for your own belongings, mind you. And it gets nicked, well, that's your own responsibility. So if it's valuable, it stays on your person. You hear?
Right.
Meals are in the morning, meals are in the noon, and meals just before supper.
Okay.
And you don't eat before the crew.
No,
Yeah.
what do you expect to?
How long will it take?
Where are you heading?
Craigfordham?
Oh, 5 days.
After
5 days?
right.
And she's already turned on her heel and kind of walked away. As the group, like as you kind of each kind of go about maybe claiming a space, like one of these little hammocks, and one of the little storage boxes, some time passes, and a handful more of passengers sort of seem to have found their way on board. There's a group of you'd recognize, each of you would have encountered people from Rotherham before. They all have sort of it's that thing of like the Rotherham claim descendancy from the giants. Regardless, you can be a dwarf, but you're from the giants, and they say it's because they all carry giants' blood and giants' fire within them, and they all have that sort of their eyes. The white of their eye is that little grayer, like it's that sort of offset. It offsets the rest of the color in their eyes, and they mostly they're you can kind of hear the twang of their accent, and a small group of them. They seem to have been. They're chatting away. You can hear they're speaking common. Any of you that would be kind of listening in or sort of stooping on the conversation, they seem to have been on holiday. They seem to have travelled to Galeshire. They're talking about the murder of the king, and as if, why is this news? Sure, kings die all the time in Rotherham. That's how you get a better king. They're kind of mostly, and they're showing each other what they've bought and what they've were able to haggle for. And a small family have also kind of moved to one side, keeping kind of a wide berth. It's a halfling and a tiefling couple, and they have kind of 3 kind of small children. 2 are tiefling in appearance. They look quite like one of the moms, and the other is clearly the older one is clearly human, and he looks an awful lot like his human mom. Again, there's that sort of, they nod, they kind of, but they're keeping to themselves, and like one of the kids is already getting sick to the bucket. Like there's just kind of a mess bucket, and he's just upchucking into it constantly. There is a clanging of, you can hear the clanging of a bell, and just from down the corridor, you all hear "Soup's up," as supper is prepared.
Okay. I will wait back until everybody's gone.
I was going to skip supper.
I am going immediately to the soup, but I have a backpack with my belongings. I'm not leaving anything behind.
Okay, yeah. So she it's that like I'm not putting my stuff in a storage box. I don't need to put stuff in my storage box. My stuff comes with me. Um, the Rothams do the same thing. They're like they look around and there is that thing of like, don't leave your bag. Yeah, yeah. Don't leave your bag. Yeah, and they gather their stuff and they go out with it. Um, the small family also kind of maneuver after a little bit. That want that kid bringing the sick bucket with them. Um, and
Oh,
it is just Xander and Grace kind of left in the passenger holding.
Grace is just kind of gonna gesture ahead of them as they put their bag on their shoulder.
Oh, no, I'm not hungry. I get a bit seasick.
Okay. Grace is going to go up for soup.
Xander is gonna try and find a hammock. Are there windows on this?
There are small little port windows. Yeah.
Yeah, so he'll take one of the hammocks that's kind of near one of the windows and just kind of look out towards, where they'd come from. He's going to open up like his little pocket watch, which has a sketch of a young woman in it, and he's just going to look out at the horizon and just kind of sing to himself that song that Rin was singing on the way over.
Bump. 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 And in the faintest moment, Xander, as you stare out at Nukri in the distance, and you can just see kind of the very, very dim light in the dark horizon, there's the smell of fish guts. There's the putrid smell of fat and oil bubbling in fire. But you can smell the faint, sweet smell of the sweat caught down along the side of her neck, drenched in her hair. And you can hear the thump, thump, thump. And you sing louder. Shiet, as you make your way out, you see that a couple of the crew have there are the huge like chunks of bread, and Wynn kind of just kind of waves at you. That's the writer, not really much of a talker. And a few of the other crew kind of turn and kind of like lift a mug or kind of give you a nod. And then the Rothahams and the family kind of spill out and see the chef, a rather scraggly looking, tufty browed, tufty beard, tufty mustache, tufts of hair coming out of his ears, furball fella, just sort of ladling blobs of soup into these wooden bowls. And again, a bowl is put in front of you, and there is just a thick crust of bread. There's the faint smell of like maybe fish off this, but it is clearly an onion soup, because you can just see huge chunks of translucent onion skin kind of floating, and the soup already has that thick, you don't need to let it go cold like just for a hair of a second, and it's sometimes thick soup gets that skin on top. You can see it because your spoon has kind of been absorbed into it.
Shuyet hasn't had a proper meal in a long time, so he is going to take the spoon out and put that down and just pick the bowl up and drink from it. And once that's been down, he's going to find the chef and say, more. More, please.
And he kind of looks at you, and then he looks past you. And if you turn you see that he's looking towards Rin. And Rin gives him a nod. And he scoops you kind of another half a bowl of a portion. Maybe pays for herself. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Chef.
Chef. He kind of says to himself.
She is already like dramatically turned around and is sitting down. Yeah.
You see that the other tiefling kid. There's the two tieflings are clearly twins. One boy, one girl. The boy has been the one that's been upchucking into the bucket. The girl and her older brother have very much copied you now, and are doing the same thing with the soup. But it's a little too big, and you see that the little girl has it's all down the front of her top, but then she's kind of just scraping it off, and she's just eating it with her hands. And her mother is trying to cover her. The people are looking, and the younger fellow who's getting sick is also eating a little bit of it, but then immediately it comes up. And Grace, the smell hits you. It's that smell of fish and onions all kind of caught. And you feel the boat rock a little bit. And you, as you kind of move out of the passengers' hold out into that corridor, you can see and you can hear the people in front of you. And then the boat shifts and you feel your legs wobble. And as you catch yourself against the wooden walls, your hand almost seems to sink through the hull. The wood is damp. It is mulch. It is rotting. The timber is waterlogged. And water begins to rush around your feet. And then it is up to your knee, and it is up to your waist. And you see the galley in front of you just floods as a crash of water comes spilling down. And something moves through the water. You see a shadow shift.
I'm going to look around, kind of.
Water is just below your breastline.
Nobody else is reacting to what I'm saying.
No.
Okay. Kind of discreetly sussing this out. I'm just going to close my eyes and just take as many steadying deep breaths as I
Feel
can.
the water over your shoulders and the pressure getting heavier against you. Give me a wisdom saving throw.
Oh no. So that is a 15.
You feel two hands, just one wraps itself around your chest, and you feel nails bite in just where your arm and your armpit, the edge there, almost scratching into the muscle. And you feel the other kind of run its fingers through your hair. And it pulls tight. And as you breathe, you can taste the salt water, and you can feel their cold breath on your neck. Join me down here.
I can't.
You can't what, Grace? And everybody is looking at you in the mess hall. Grace sat down at a table opposite you, kind of between you and the Rotherhams, and stared at the bowl of soup and then just started hyperventilating. The bowl went flying off the table and you just heard them mutter, "I can't," like as if they were struggling to breathe. Rin has kind of stood up and is gesturing to everybody to kind of hold back. Miss Stormfield, Mrs. Stormfield, are you? Maybe you need some air.
Yeah, air would be good. Grace is going to like kind of turn to the rest of them and say, I'm sorry, and just like leg it out and up onto the deck.
You kind of brushing past everybody. You see that the soup has kind of spilled out onto the floor. The chef kind of eyeballs you, or chef, he's not calling himself a chef. The cook eyeballs you as you race past and up the stairs and out onto the deck, Grace. And you can feel the cold air. You can feel the sea spray on you. You can feel the night kissing against your skin. You can just make out the twin moons still covered in these heavy clouds. It was just a dream. It was just it was just an hallucination. Maybe it's you haven't got your sea legs.
Yeah. Grace is gonna kind of not lean over the edge, but they're going to like they're gonna grip one of the rails and just like try and slow their breathing. And as they do so, they're going to kind of like press around where they felt the nails dig in, like near their armpit.
It's that thing of like your hand kind of maneuvers to where you felt their nails catch against your skin. You don't feel any blood, you don't feel any cuts, and yet it still hurts. It feels as if the skin underneath the muscle is bruised. And as that thought comes to you, there below, under the swirling black glass that is this sea, you feel something move. And then there is the clanging of a bell. Breakfast is not going to serve itself. Last call.
What, breakfast? But there was just supper?
Grace, take a point of exhaustion.
Damn. Okie doke.
That's not
And
Oh,
Xander and Juliette, you had retired to bed long before Grace, and you had risen long before they had. Many of the others in the passengers' quarters had also gotten up with the morning and climbed out as you heard the captain's orders to pull the anchor and to lower the masts to make ready with first light towards Rotherham. North, straight as the crow flies. And you can hear the sounds of the ship cutting against the sea, the water sloshing around. And Grace, in the room, you just see that small tiefling boy laying on his side in a hammock. Across from him, a mother is just kind of damping a towel against his head, and she's singing a soft lullaby to him. And our ship heads north, and the day rolls on, and it is largely uneventful as there isn't any signs of clouds in the sky. The crew seem in better form. They seem rested. They seem fed. None of you seem to spy Captain Renard, though. He has mostly kept to his quarters, his office. Maybe once or twice if you were above deck, you would have seen Rin call on them, only for Rin to seem to be the one giving orders back to the crew. But the journey, as of now, as of so far, has been largely calm. And as morning rolls into afternoon, afternoon into early evening, there is the clanging of a bell. This time from above deck. And all of you hear kind of a heavy, low whistling sound. And someone calls for the captain as a fog rolls in. And then, as if you were above deck, even if you're below looking out one of the portholes, you see the horizon completely blanketed in this rolling grey, thick fog that seems to have just whipped up out of nowhere. And then there is a thud, 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 as a voice calls out. A woman's voice cutting through the air. And Rin gives the order to lower a rope to have them come aboard. And many of the other passengers have kind of, on hearing this, kind of clambered up around to get an eye at this new passenger aboard the Blue Mary. And it's in that all of you see this woman clamber up over the edge of the ship, draped in just these heavy, wet, black rags. They stand up, turn to face, and Captain Renard nowhere to be seen. Rin steps forward, and you just hear Rin Gale, first mate of the Blue Mary. Captain is a little busy with the charts. Are you in need of help? And you all lay eyes on pale Nancy. Do you want to, Kat, would you like to give us a description of what everybody sees?
Okay, you see a human woman, perhaps in her late 30s, approaching her 40s, but has a bit more wear and tear to her. She looks older than she possibly is. She is very sea-worn and salty looking. She's got very cropped blonde hair to the sides with like a bit of a spiky coif, oiled back, almost like a mohawk kind of style. She's wearing these oiled leathered sailing leathers with the arms ripped off to reveal these really sinewy, very skinny arms covered in like nautical themed tattoos of whales and fish and little bilge rats running around a little rope that coils up her arm and then across her collarbone. And over on her side, she has a blubber hook and just a lot of like little whalebone charms and scrimshaw, almost like little talismans, just like tied here and there across her clothes.
Are you in need of assistance?
Frankly, I need a food like right now. Could you help me out there?
Yeah, we can spare some food. Is there anybody else?
Nah, it's just myself, sure. But food first, and then I can talk to this wee, what you call him, Renard. Was his name Renard? I forgot already.
The captain?
Yeah.
Yes. And Rin kind of looks and then sees kind of the crowd have kind of gathered. If you and kind of grabs that same kind of human, the same human woman from earlier with the kind of rusty red hair. If you follow finds below, she'll get you a bit of food from the cook, and
Yeah.
then you see kind of they give kind of a look, and one or two other crewmen kind of also follow finds that human woman, and the crowd kind of parts.
What did you say your wee name was again? Ren, did you say?
Yes, ma'am. First
And
mate.
the captain's called Renard.
Yeah.
Is that
Captain
not
Renard.
wild confusing though?
No, Renard. Rin. Captain Quentin Renard. Rin Gale.
You know what? I'm just gonna call him Quentin, and I'll call you Ren. Sure. Can I ask you a wee question though?
Yes, ma'am.
She's gonna gesture to all the people kind of looking. She's like, are they alright? Because I don't take too kindly to people looking at me.
And Rin immediately kind of looks down, like it's that thing they just look down.
Now, I know you're making things awkward now, sure. You can look at me, just not for prolonged periods of time now.
It's just, ma'am, you kind of came out of nowhere, and your ship. Were you caught in the storm last night?
No.
Right, you are. Okay. Make way. And miss your name.
Oh, it's Pale Nancy, sure. You can call me Nancy if you like.
Nancy. And there'll be there'll be time to maybe get to know your fellow passengers if you wish. And then they kind of gesture towards this kind of pale-looking, surly woman with red hair, who's kind of standing there with kind of one or the other two sailors.
Very fantastic. I'm absolutely fucking starving, like.
Right. Right, sure. Everybody else, back to work. Come on. Show's over. And there is kind of just a whistle from Rin, and kind of people kind of scarper. The kids are hanging off of their moms and are just staring at you.
How old are you?
I'm not supposed to talk to strangers.
Ah, just humor me. How old are you? You're like 9 or something.
And you see kind of the little boy kind of looks up at their mom, and she kind of just gives him the nod. 9 soon. How old are you?
Not 9. She's just gonna walk away.
And like again, the youngest, the tiefling, kind of tugs on his mom's the hem of her skirt, like her dress almost, and there is just a bleh, as he gets sick on the deck, and she kind of picks him up and she moves him towards the side of the ship to kind of get sick over, and the kids start kind of laughing or making fun of him. Nancy, you were led below deck into the galley, and the cook has surprise. Fish and onion soup ready to go. There is a tough crust of bread on the plate, and it's sort of like slapped in front of you on a table. And the three are just kind of gathered around these human, half elf, and a minotaur are all just kind of gathered around, kind of just looking down at you.
Nancy is just going to absolutely dig in, but also take out from her little pocket here a cigarette, and she's going to take it out, light it, and just swap between skipping up the stew with one hand, drag a cigarette with the next, and just repeat that process while just staring at this minotaur.
Where'd you say you came from? The woman kind of pipes up.
Tell her boat.
But where'd you leave Pier from?
Didn't leave Pier. I left on the boat.
But where did you come from the boat?
I don't know. I don't read the maps. I just hoist the mainsail every so often.
Right.
Aye, where'd you leave from?
Nookery.
Knockery, where's that?
South.
South of where?
south of where we currently are. Where are you going then? If you haven't left from somewhere, surely you're going somewhere.
Not going anywhere. I'm going back to my boat. Just here to talk to the captain, sure. What, Quentin is his name?
Captain Renard, yes.
Renard, is that not awful confusing though? Like Ren and Renard.
Well, Reynard, Reynard. I don't know what you're. And then someone kind of maybe she's just addled from the sea.
Harlaw, what do you fucking say?
I said maybe you're addled by the sea.
She's gonna stand up, whip out her little blubber hook. Do you want to fucking say that to me again there?
I said, and again, the Minotaur just kind of steps in. Give me a wisdom saving throw.
A wisdom saving throw? Why that? Why wisdom saving throw?
My questions exactly.
Yep.
Natural 20.
You can clearly hear a young woman singing a song. You clearly hear the sound, and you know the song. It's the Ode to the Devil. But it sounds as if it's coming from outside the ship. It sounds as if it's coming from below. Deep below. And in that moment, Nancy, as you clearly hear her, and it is a lament. There is so much hurt and sorrow in every syllable and every sound that gargles and drowns and bubbles in her throat. You feel so much death aboard this ship. It is a vessel carrying tormented souls. And the woman is kind of pulled away from you, and you see that like her knuckles are white from where she's clenched her fist. And the Minotaur has kind of pulled her back.
Nancy's going to very slowly put her blubber hook back into her belt, take a long drag from her cigarette, and sit back down, still not taking her eyes from this woman. There's been enough death in this boat, that's for sure. Be helping it and adding any more to it.
They look at you, they look at each other, and you just hear, "Come on, Fiends, it's not worth it. You know what the captain will do." And she's dragged away by the Minotaur and the half-elf. And it's just you and the cook in the galley.
What's her fucking problem?
Word of advice. Be a bit nicer on the ship.
I'm being nice.
Give me a roll of a d4.
A 2.
What you said about the ship and death and all. The Blue Mary has her ghosts.
Oh, I know. What's her name? Wee Mary or something? Mary Fairweather, Fair what? I don't know.
Stories. That'll do damage to a ship. More damage than any storm. Especially one that deals in transport and cargo. Nobody wants to go aboard a ship haunted. what's everybody else doing at this point?
I would have liked to go seek out Rin because I want to ask them a little bit about what I overheard when they were climbing onto the boat.
Okay. It is. I think you'll find Rin kind of maneuvering around the ship. They're currently kind of on the rigging towards the mainsail, just kind of checking on the ropes. You can clearly kind of see they dangle and they move incredibly quick and gracefully between the ropes. And you see them they're just checking the rigging, Xander. And there's a moment then where they just sort of slip and slide and drop kind of a couple of feet in front of you.
Nicely done.
Havoc on the knees, but I think worth the entrance.
So, I hope you don't mind me asking. I couldn't help it over here when we were boarding the other night. What was it? Tide Walker or something?
Oh, yeah. It's fine. Just an old name. That's all.
Oh, for the ship or
It's bad luck to bring it up on board. But in a way, yes. We used to sail under that name. She did before the captain took over.
Isn't that a bit of a bad luck to change a ship's name?
Captain was pretty determined. So says you make your own luck.
Did you work on it before the name change?
She was my aunt's ship. So been on this probably longer than I've been on land.
Well, maybe you should be captain then. And I will light a cigarette and walk away.
As you kind of light up the cigarette and you kind of turn, it's a thing of they go to say something, but they hold it back, and then they turn and you just hear them kind of they shout out to another sailor to double check the knots to make sure it's all tied down. There's clouds on the horizon. They're not looking good. Juliette, what are you up to at this point?
He's been exploring the ship, trying to find out as much as he can. He's still kind of obsessively thinking about looking into the water, seeing the darkness and that. So what he's actually going to do is go up to the deck. Took me far too long to remember that word. And while understanding its limitations, standing sort of at the Titanic arms out part of the boat, he will cast Detect Magic, if possible, to try understand what forces are at play here.
Give me an Arcana check, Juliette.
13.
So, as you move to the front of the ship, and there, you do see sort of the figurehead. It's like a mermaid or a siren like creature. You see that there are wings that are kind of sprouting from her back, but kind of putting a hand on the bow of the ship, closing your eyes and just breathing the air in. You let everything go and you reach out for the ether that is magic. You reach out for the fey lines that connects everything. And you can feel them all around you deep below. And then the magic, it seems to be swallowed. It seems as if something is blocking it. There is a pull, there is a sink, There is something pulling on your magic, something preventing you from reaching to fully connecting into that ether. Something on the ship preventing you from reaching out.
Curious.
Grace, what are you doing?
Where was Grace when Nancy came aboard? Because they were probably still trying to figure out what day it was.
Then it would. If this is the case, then maybe Grace was still sort of in the passenger quarters.
Is Declan gone for you, or is it just me? Sorry.
Just you, Kat, I think.
Just you.
No, I'm going to have to refresh. I
Okay.
looked up and Declan wasn't there anymore, and I was just like, oh my god.
Yeah, refresh. You might just disappear from the stream for a second.
BRB.
Yeah, we're going to say, Grace, that it is that thing that you do lose a moment or two, and you heard commotion, you heard people talking, you heard something out in the galley, the kind of the kitchenette area, the little dining space, and it is, I think, of as you stumble out, you do see there is just a woman sat there, smoking the ends of a cigarette. You don't recognize her from any of the other passengers.
Hi.
Nancy, give me the roll of a D100.
Is it me? Sorry, I had to refresh my stream.
Yeah, no, yeah.
I don't know, she was talking to me. 67.
It's you hear somebody call out your name, and there is the smell of earth, deep rooted, buried, almost soil upon soil upon soil, level upon level, dead air. And the gnarling, twisting, grasping, choking roots that hold these walls firm, ripped and torn. Centuries sleeping, centuries holding. And you can smell the earth, you can smell the mildew, you can smell the earthworms crawling. And as you turn, standing there, you see this woman. She says hello.
Hi, what about you?
I'm Grace. Yourself?
I'm Nancy. Sure. She leaves her hand out to shake their hand.
Grace is just gonna shake their hand and say, where did you come from? I
Just
didn't remember pulling into a...
just came on a boat. Looking at Captain.
What? Okay. Captain tends to keep to himself.
I noticed that. So what's your story
it's
then? She takes a drag from her cigarette.
Just going to Craig Farnham.
Is that where this boat's headed then? Crag Farnham?
Yeah.
What's there?
You didn't know where the boat was heading before you got on?
Ah, just needed to get on it.
Is this one of those kind of going where the wind sort of takes you, or intuition, or magic, or something?
We better
All
call
of
him
the
B.
above.
We better call him B, sure. Just go where I'm told. Told to come here.
Both
Talk to the captain.
both give me insight checks.
Natural one.
Give me a second. That was a 13.
all you can hear as everything at this point, Nancy, you can just hear the earth being sundered. You can hear ancient roots being pulled out. You hear the deafening screech of something abhorrent, ancient, evil. And Grace, there's something that you recognize in Nancy. You recognize that look. You recognize the way they hold themselves. What lies behind the eyes. Nancy has seen death. And she has brought it upon many. There's a wrapping on the table, Nancy, and you just hear, and again, Grace, you kind of just catch Rin Gale, the first mate of the Blue Mary. Miss Nancy, Captain Renard has asked to see you, to meet with you.
Right bloody time. Let's go.
This way, and they head up the stairs to the deck.
She flicks her wee cigarette away and follows Ren.
Again, you pass and you do see this odd little cloaked fellow kind of wisping around the deck, kind of staring over. He's writing something. He's muttering something. He kind of casts a look in your direction, but he doesn't look at you. He seems to see past you, Nancy. You are led to the other side of the ship, and there's a rap on the doors again as Rin knocks. Captain Renard, it's a Nancy, a pale Nancy to meet with you, sir. And there's just silence on the other side. Yeah, Captain.
Nancy reaches over at him and just boom, 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 boom.
Enter.
She enters.
And Rin kind of follows behind you, shutting the door. You find yourself standing in like a ship captain's office. There's a large, heavy table. You can see various sort of cabinets that are fastened to the wall, and delicate trinkets, charts, maps, navigation equipment sprawled on a long table. The captain is leaning over his chair, kind of looking out at a large kind of window, like just on kind of the side of the ship. Nancy, is it?
Quentin?
Captain.
All right, Captain. Quentin?
You're looking for passage?
Actually, just no, I'm grand. Just wanted to ask you, why is your boat full of death? Your boat's full of death, mate.
Excuse me?
Boat's haunted.
Oh, Gale, leave the room. Leave us the room.
Who's Gale?
And Rin turns and heads out the door. You just hear a yes, Captain, muttered under their breath as they pass through.
So his name's Ren and you're Renard, but you both have equally distinct other names you could be using.
Who are you?
Bill Nancy.
I don't know where you've come from, but you've boarded our vessel in the middle of the swirling black. You asked for food and it was provided to you. You asked for an audience and it was granted to you. And now you stand on my ship spouting absolute horseshit in front of my first mate. I think, Nancy, it's about time you gathered what rags and flotsam you carry your belongings and get the fuck off my boat.
All right. I don't think you want me to leave, though, considering what happens next. So here's the wee deal here. You know boats aren't supposed to be hunted now, are they?
The Blue Mary is not haunted.
Aye, but it is, though. Boats proper hunted. Ghosts aren't supposed to be in boats. They're supposed to be in the sea now. That's where the ghosts go.
Right.
Don't be hovering around.
And where is there a ghost here? And he throws paper off the desk. Oh no! Oh, that's that one gone. That's gone now, Nancy. That ghost is gone. Where else are we seeing ghosts? And he flips a table.
Do you think this is some fucking children's story here where ghosts just knock about wee stuff over, giving you wee spooks here and there? It's not how it fucking works, mate. Not how it fucking works at all. How it's supposed to fucking work. Ghosts, you go in the sea, you fucking stay there. You don't be hovering around any boats there, walking around like flotsam teasing the wee fishies below. So here's this catch, mate. We figure out why your boat's fucking hunted. Put the ghosts back where they go, or I go back to my boat, we scuttle yours, and get the boat ghosts back into the ocean, one way or the other, with a bunch of new wee bastards joining them. Do you want to work with me here? Or do you want to be a wee fecker?
What's your AC?
What a wee bitch. What is my AC? I don't know what my AC is. It's 13.
He steps up to you, Nancy, like as you as you make yourself known and your presence here, with every word, you press in, you push into this space. And then there is black as he steps up to you, and you can smell the drink off his breath. You can smell the cigarettes catching the stagnant smoke in his lungs, the blackening rot in his teeth. He squares up to you and he just punches you as hard as he can into the stomach. And the air is knocked out of your lungs as he brings both elbows down on top of your head. And as you feel the room spin, caught completely off guard, there's no fucking ghosts on the Blue Mary.
As she kind of swings around from the head to see if anything on his table, preferably glass.
Give me a perception check at disadvantage.
Disadvantage? Okay. The big dice. Oh, no. I don't like that. It's a 9.
You stumble forward and your vision is swirling. And you reach for the table and your hand, you just find charts and you find a heavy map, but you swing back and he just catches you right under the jaw, Nancy. And you see a silver chain around his neck spill out, and there is a glowing teal stone imbued into the middle of it. And as you reach up for it, he steps back. There's no ghosts.
She's gonna, if she can't get anything off the table, she's just gonna take her blubber hook and she's gonna do this a hard way, and she's just gonna like swing at him, going for the throat.
Give me
trying to get a fatal cut.
Give me an attack roll at disadvantage.
Why is it a disadvantage? I'm a good girl. There we go. Melee. Well, it's, yeah. No, it's not melee. That's fine. Oh, 2 13s. That is a 18 to hit.
It's that thing of he swings in and he clobbers you into the jaw and you slash out. And everything starts to go dark, Nancy, as your head is swimming. and it feels as if you are underwater, and you hear a roar, like a kind of a guttural roar out of him as your hook slashes down in you. You almost feel it hook the clavicle bone, and your hand slips as you smell blood, and somebody else is in the room, and
Can she-
everything goes dark.
No, don't do that.
And you hear, "Hush, darling. I won't let her take you." And we're going to take our break there.
Ooh.
Oh no!
Pale Nancy is the coolest.
Oh
my, like,
Go to break, Declan.
Yeah.
She just wants to scuttle a boat.
we and we're back on that wonderfully flatulent noise. We're back.
Wait, did they hear that?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah.
It just switched over to the stream.
Yeah. So thanks, Kat. Thanks for farting our way back. If you are just joining us, we are playing Saving Grace. You know, Gothic horror needs more flatulence. I think really that's the one thing. That's the one thing missing from Mary Shelley's Frankenstein is
More
the
parts.
the odd fart. But we are playing Saving Grace: A Garden of Lies, the second season into our Gothic horror adventure. And we left with Grace, Xander, Shriette aboard the Blue Mary on their way to Cragfarnham Island, where a day into their trip, they were joined by a new passenger, a woman who referred to herself only as Pale Nancy, who clambered aboard looking for some food and to meet with the captain. The meeting with the captain didn't go the way Nancy had intended, and it is... as we close back in on the ship, night has fallen and the sea is that much more choppy. Grace, Xander, and Shriette, you see that the crew they're moving away, that you haven't seen them in the last night or previous. That the energy on board seems a little bit more frantic, as you are urged to return to your quarters. The wind is picking up and it is a howling scream that just rips through the air, and there is in that the children are quite nervous. The citizens from Rotherham are spilled over to the one corner and they're kind of peering out the port, and then you just hear one of them shout, "There's a wave, there's a wave." And as you peer out starboard, you do see this large wave just climbing, and there is a crack of lightning against the night sky, and it just begins to bucket rain as the wave crashes into the side of the Blue Mary, and the ship is knocked a little. All of you are swinging either in your hammock, or if you are on foot standing, you are kind of you can't help but stumble as you hear pots and pans crash. The kids are now full on wailing as the moms are trying to sway any kind of fears. What are the three of you doing?
Ooh, Grace would have still been close to where the mess hall was, canteen area, right? Would any of the furniture have started moving about?
Yeah, so some of the stools and stuff like that aren't, they slide with that wallop from the wave.
I'm going to try and dodge those and get somewhere where I could kind of get an idea as to what's happening.
Not
getting into the way of the crew.
You can get up onto the deck if you want to go and spy like any idea what's actually happening. Yep. Yeah. Xander.
Yep, I think he was still on the deck after having spoken to Rin, just kind of watching the horizon.
Yeah, you saw it kind of turn, the sky blackened very quickly. You heard Rin shouting something about clouds in the distance. It is late into the evening, so you would expect the sky, but then came the rain, there's lightning, and you just see these swells rise and fall and wallop into the side of the ship as you are, at some stage, somebody barks at you to get below deck.
Mm-hmm. Figgy quickly stubs a cigarette out on the side of the boat and just kind of chucks it overboard before running into the cover.
Okay. So again, it's that thing of you were on deck when it all kind of started to go south, and then Shriette.
Yeah, he was he was trying to get as low under like to the bottom of the boat as possible, which I assume is where we're probably sleeping.
Close enough. You're kind of about 2/3 below. There is a storage. You're not permitted into that. That's crew only, and their
Yeah.
quarter.
Yep, and he will obey the rules. So he will go as low as he is possibly allowed to go, which is so he's just underneath his hammock, so the hammock is above him. And he's trying to just feel the wood and understand and try sense where the magic is coming from when the crash hits. And he'll just say, "Oh, it's angry."
Give me a perception check. Sure.
Oh, not 20.
You hear a very loud, like you hear you feel the whole ship just shove as the sea crashes into her, and in that there is a wallop of thunder, and you feel the ship shake and shudder. There's something else at play here, and it's that thing of as your hand, like as you feel the wood of the ship, as you feel the hull, it's that same sensation that there's somebody or something on the other side looking at you.
Hello?
There's no response. Excuse me?
Hello?
You're not supposed to be down here, pal.
He's in the bedrooms though, right? Like in the...
Oh, I thought you'd gone below, like you tried to
Oh, no, he would never disobey
Oh, yeah, but you can go below and then not go in. Like
sorry, yes, yeah, he'll do that. Sorry,
yeah. So it's like clearly there is like a kind of a crew only sort of like sign on there, but you can go below that space. You're wanting to be going back up to the passengers' quarters. The first mates asked everybody to keep out of the way, so best you head up.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there somebody else down here? Is there anyone down here?
No, we're all above trying to tie down any cargo. Come on.
Okay. And he'll climb up.
You see that he's soaked to the bone, like he's drenched right through. And as you follow up, you see that he's going straight up again, like he's just going right back up onto deck. And all of you are kind of gathered in that space. And you feel the boat just walloped on the port side this time as another wave kind of crashes into the side of the ship, and water sloshes overboard, onto the deck, and some of it spills down in through the open stairwell into the galley, and you see it sort of spill out. And Grace, there is this sudden rising anxiety, this sudden rising feeling within you.
I'm going to try identify if this is because of the experience I had or a general just kind of healthy fear of the sea.
You tell me.
I'm actually going to slink back to my hammock, I think. I'm going to take a step away from the deck and just kind of go further and further back, kind of clinging to the shadows a bit.
As you slink away and you kind of try to disappear into kind of the quarters, kind of making yourself small and tidy and hidden. A voice whispers at the back of your mind. Really, Grace, you'd slink to the far corners of the world to get away from me. And long, spindling, gnarled fingers wrap around your throat. And you could feel them pressing against you, and you can feel the drowned skin slip as it slinks. And you can feel the damp, and you can smell the decay.
I'm going to start hyperventilating again because I thought this had all been done and dusted. And clearly not. And being out of the safety of the grove, this is actually just going to hit real hard. Because I would have thought I would have been safe from her.
Come now, Grace. We parted such strong, hateful words the last time.
No, this shouldn't be happening.
I'm here, though, Grace. I'm here to watch. As you were swallowed by the swirling black. Your drowned corpse food for the gnashing, gnarling teeth below. Until your soiled, rotten, bloated remains bubble up to the surface, where they are scorched and pecked at by hungry gulls. You'll die on this ship, Grace.
It's better than dying with you.
There's that tongue. Maybe I'll... And her fingers move up to your mouth, and she pushes them in, and you feel them crack against your teeth, and you feel them snag on your tongue, and water and soil and dirt swallow down, and you find it catching in your throat. This is what it's like, Grace. This is what it's like when you can't catch a breath, and you feel it in your guts. You feel it as the water swallows down. Choke. And she pulls her hand free.
I am going to find that little kid's bucket.
Grace, 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 Grace. All you have to do is say you're sorry.
And you don't seem like the forgiving type.
I'm not.
So why give me this option, then watch me, as you say, drown, rot, bloat, then float?
Why does a cat play with its food before it severs the head from the neck? Fun. Grace, sweet Grace. I leave, but no, I stay and linger and watch. He's waiting, Grace. Thane. Here in the dark. And the empty. All of them. Everyone whose life you stole. Everyone whose heart you ripped from their chests. They're all waiting, Grace. Waiting to welcome you to the dark. To the empty. To the void. Hands are on you, Grace. Someone is screaming your name. Stormfield! Stormfield!
Oh.
And there's water at your feet. For everybody else, you've seen Grace in the corner, choking and muttering and talking to herself, screaming and catching and getting sick in her mouth, all the while slinking back and just quivering into this tiny wreck of a creature. You were dragged out of the passengers' quarters. Anybody able-bodied, anybody with strength, up onto deck to help. A storm ravages the swirling black. There is a crashing sound, Grace, as you feel just these strong hands on you, shaking you back and forth, and your eyes catch that of a Minotaur man kind of just trying to pull you back into it. She's fucking useless. Just let her go. And you hear a woman's voice just calling out, and one of the mothers is trying to, like, her kids are full on wailing, and she has them up onto a hammock. And water fills the room as another surge of water rushes over the side of the ship. On deck, Xander and Shuyet, you see Rin, the first mate, barking orders. You are asked to help with... give me a roll of a D4, both of you.
The one type of dice I didn't have out.
4.
Also 4.
Eyes up. They need somebody to get into the crow's nest, and to keep an eye out for rocks, to keep an eye out for swells, and one of you is needed to climb up to the crow's nest.
Yeah, Shuyot's already started to climb.
Okay. And with that, Xander, as you kind of stand there sort of slightly perplexed, Shuyet's already up. With that, rope is just shoved into your hand as Rin just like literally grabs a heap of it and just tie it off, and moves again to do like something else. Is trying to get back up onto the rigging to do with the sails. Shuyet, I need you can tell me how you're getting up there. You can be athletics, you can be acrobatics. If you have a spell, you can use. But how are you getting up to the crow's nest?
I think I'd actually just like to use my own strength and dexterity.
Yeah, give me an athletics check then. And then Xander, what skill are you using to tie off the ropes?
Could I use acrobatics? Because I'm not a very strong boy. Or sleight of hand.
I'll give you a sleight of hand. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't really see how acrobatics would work unless you were going to throw your weight around it and kind of loop, but sleight of hand, yeah.
Cool.
I'd like to take another option.
Nope, no other option. I'm afraid. What did you get?
An 8.
Okay.
I got a 21.
It is that thing. There are hard nails driven into one of the masts that you can kind of use as a makeshift ladder, kind of up. You get a grip. You start climbing, but you slip and you fall. Take 1 bludgeoning damage as you kind of hit the deck with a thwack, and immediately you just hear Rin shout out, finds the nest now, and that human woman kind of just looks over. She bundles some of the crates into somebody else's hands, and she just bolts past you, Shiet, and starts to climb upwards.
Mhm.
In that, Xander, you've taken the rope and you saw them how they tied it off on the dock. You were kind of watching. The knot seemed strong and solid, and you're not really sure what you're tying down, like, but there is a bunch of mesh. There are crates bundled against it, and you lash them against this sort of iron bolt just hanging out or kind of sticking out from the side of the ship as you tie down bits and pieces. You see, like, you are just pelted by rain, and the wind wallops into you. You can taste the salt air. It is freezing cold. The sea towers over with each flash of lightning. It's almost as if it's fit to pop, as if it's fit to burst, as a surge of wave crashes over the top of the Blue Mary and water spills over it. In that moment, there is a scream as the ship is just surged forward, half spilling to one side. I need both of you to give me an athletics check.
Okay.
Lovely. Oh,
7.
Or acrobatics. I'll take
I'll take acrobatics. Okay.
whatever you
10.
have the two.
16.
All right, 22. That's much better.
You are kind of caught off guard as much as you are waiting, as if you were searching what's going to happen when is the next surge going to wallop into you, and then it's that thing, Shiet, as you look up, the wave crashes into the ship, and everything that's not been tied down is shot up, and there's a scream as the woman climbing the mast towards the crow's nest loses her grip and falls, and there is a crack as she hits the deck. And then somebody runs over, screaming her name, Fines, and she doesn't respond.
Oh dear.
Dead?
What are you dead? What are you doing?
Can I run over and check her out? And if someone still needs to go up the mast, I can climb.
Yeah, you can get. So you and Shiet are next to this woman's body.
Okay.
You can give me a medicine check if you wish.
Yep.
Can I
Where's
shift up to the crow's nest?
Yeah, what form are you taking?
Bird. Seagull. I would have seen a lot of seagulls around.
Okay.
Yep.
Give me an acrobatics or athletics check again, Shiet. This is more kind of the maneuver that you're going to use to get up and, like, against the storm. How are you going to manage?
11.
Okay. And Xander, on your medicine?
17.
She was killed instantly. Her neck, her head's turned a way that it shouldn't be. Whatever way she landed, you can actually see the bone is sticking out. She died as soon as she hit the deck. In that moment, as you kind of turn to look to Shiet, see that the cloak has just vanished. Like, it's not even vanished; it has just sank to the ground. Shiet's not there, and you just see a gull storm up towards the crow nest. And Shiet, as you fly up, you feel the wind just wallop, and you come right around as it strikes into you. But you're using the current of the storm. You're using the momentum of that to kind of push you. And as you swing back around, your wings catching the air currents, your talons kind of lash out towards as you sink into the wood of the crow's nest. Stumbling forward into it, you shift again into your more humanoid form. And up here, you see two things. You can see a large crop of, or you can see a large wall of rock. You are heading straight towards it. You are being shoved straight towards it. If the ship hits it, the hull will crack, you will take on water, and you will drown. And as you kind of spin behind you, it's that thing of like you turn and the light, there's a flash of lightning and the entire swirling black is lit up for that briefest of moments. Lashed to the Blue Mary at the back of the ship, you see a chain taut. You see something like a chain, a rope taut, and you follow it. And there's a boat. And there's somebody on that small boat. It's hard to see who it is. But Nancy, you struggle. Your hands bound behind your back. A thick gag of a leather strap in your mouth. Your feet wrapped in chains. And a hand reaches up over the rim of the boat. And a second. And yet first, it looks as if you're pulling yourself out of the swirling black of the sea. And you see a tousle of white hair. And then you can smell the sea on her. You can smell the death and the blood and the rot, the damp. You can smell the cold, and you can see her eyes. They bulge out of her head in a way that a human's eyes can't. They seem to be fixed at an odd point in her skull, and it is misshaped and malformed, and her mouth opens, and black ichor drips as she pulls herself into the ship, or she pulls herself into the boat. And she labors over you, her claws jagged, pointed. Hungry. And that is where we leave the session.
Oh, no, I don't like it. I don't like it.
Rather you than me.
So,
Oh, I was about to say exactly the same thing.
oh, I'm gonna kick her in the face. I gotta wait 2 weeks before I can kick her in the face.
Can you kick a ghost?
Uh,
Can you kick a ghost?
Can
I'm
I,
trading my
Very
whole
good question.
ghost.
we'll find out in 2 weeks' time.
let me ask Chat.
Okay, very, very. So, firstly, thank you so much to Heartfire Tales for the raid. So sorry I didn't get to acknowledge it mid rant, but I was like, I'm mid rant. Thanks so much, everybody, for joining us there towards the end of our little stream. This has been Saving Grace, A Garden of Lies. And I've been joined this evening by Tendai, Soph, Emma, and Kat. And we pick up in 2 weeks' time for the next session, where the final member of our ensemble will be joining us if we make it out of the swirling black alive. That
Oh,
is.
dear. Yeah, that's gonna be a very short show, guys.
It'll be a really short show.
Like incredibly short.
A big thank you to Emma for producing our series as well. It always takes that little bit more off my plate and lets me focus on tormenting everybody that little bit more each episode. So thanks, Emma. A huge nod to the familiar players around my table. Thank you all so much, as always, for letting me tell these stories and for you letting me away with my shenanigans and horrific nonsense. We're going to be back in 2 weeks' time. Before then, though, coming up this Thursday, we have a brand new episode of Random DMs. You'll see some familiar faces. Neither myself or Emma are in the DM chair. For the first time this season, Nikki is in our DM's chair, and I am terrified because it's
I
a
can't
combat
wait.
episode. It's a combat episode, and Fung is in charge of a combat episode. So really excited to see what happens. In 2 weeks' time, so a brand new episode of Romancing the Dungeon just dropped on Friday, episode, what did I say, 4?
Yeah.
Of Romancing the Dungeon Season 3 dropped. In 2 weeks' time, a Halloween special on the 1st of November, the day after Halloween, we are releasing a very special Halloween episode, DM'd by our very own Ben. And really, really excited for you all to check it out. We got to listen to an advanced. Well, I got to play in it, so that was the first. And I then got to listen to a draft of Ben's edit, and it is a phenomenal story. So really, really looking forward to that dropping for you all next Friday. And that's kind of it. Very quickly, just to check out our friends over at Mystery Dice Goblin for all things TTRPGs related accessories and their wonderful, wonderful dice bags. Use the code D8 at checkout and get 15% off your order. A little bit of that sale then comes back to us here at D8 Dungeon, and we put that towards art, music, and all sorts of other bits and pieces to run our shows. We've some new things in the works. I keep saying this, but they really are in the works. If you're over on our Discord server, you'll get first news. We have 2 new shows starting very, very soon. Starting very, very soon. They'll be starting kind of at the end of the year, start of the new year. But work is well underway for those, including a special limited series called Masked Legacy, Valor and Vengeance, based on the Magpie Games Masks system. And we're trying something weird with that, see how it's going to work. And the TTRPG trials are going to kick off at the end of this year, start of next year. So do check out our social media and our Discord server for all those details. I'm going to mention it now because I haven't had a chance to do it yet. Halloween night. If you have no plans on Halloween night, I promised at the end of our last Ben and Declan on a roll to run an online game of Werewolf live streamed here on Twitch. So if you have no plans on Halloween evening after you've done your trick or treating, after your before your party, why not drop into our Discord server? The details will be going live tomorrow. It'll take about an hour, 2 hours to play. It is a spooky murder mystery game where hopefully you'll survive. More likely you won't. Your character won't. You'll live. You'll be fine. Well, I can't promise that either. But we're going to run that next Thursday evening instead of as part of it's Ben and Declan on a roll with a murder mystery. So if that sounds like your cup of tea, then you have to check out our Discord server where all details will be available for you to figure out how to get involved. That's it from us. We're back in 2 weeks' time for the next session of Saving Grace, but there's plenty of D8 Dungeon content to be listening to and to be checking out. So hopefully we will see you somewhere on the internet. Take care, folks.
Bye.
Bye.